It is Sunday. Well, it's technically Monday. But yeah, I just recorded this episode without any sound, so let's just do it again. So yeah, Abyssal Expedition is currently ongoing. So there are pretty big strides to be made in the Curse Realm and Nightmare Corridor, because most people, myself included, focus their energy on the Abyssal Expedition. But let us speedrun these teams so I can go to bed, because it's getting kind of late. Right, the first team here, Scarlet team. Yeah, full attack everywhere. One thing that you can do for the Scarlet team is you can play around with Ivan's haste. For me, removing boots from Ivan gave me 6 seconds into this team. So definitely lots of strides to be made from just playing with Ivan's haste. Try removing his boots and see if that makes any difference for you guys. For the next team here, I'm using Rem. I'm also using Thorin. If you don't have Thorin for this team because you're using him in the last team, if you have his SI40, you can just use Atheist in here for a similar but slightly worse result. As for the collections, HP on Thorin, full attack everywhere else, nothing of note. Next team, here we have the Viker team, stack full attack everywhere, try to fit in a +2 volt, but yeah, and obviously the strongest possible collection you can for a Viker, and away you go. Next team, Baden Trashir team, you need Trashir's engraving 30 to make the team work. You stack full attack everywhere, strong collection on Baden, and erosion on Aurelia. Next team, this is the, it's the Lan Thane team. If you don't have Thane, you can use Crasio as a replacement for Thane. Usually this team does around like 8 to 9 seconds. This was quite a poor round, but I gained a lot in the first round. So yeah, ended up being my overall best hit. Full attack everywhere. You want this type of collection on Vithiel, or at least that made a difference for me. But yeah, just whatever you have, it doesn't really matter. This team is pretty stable. And then last but not least, we have the Athalia round. Again, if you have Awakened Thorin SI40, you want to use him over Gavious, because then this will become a 9-second round. For me, I don't have that investment, so I'm using Gavious for a 15-second round. And again, just stacking full attack everywhere that I can. Yes. Alright, let's just quickly head over to the browser, because I have some teams to show you. So this is shout out to Manuel Alcayaga from my guild, who makes these weekly guides for the Nightmare Corridor, Cursed Realm, and the Treasure Scramble. Again, personally, I didn't have to resort to this guide because my region is so easy, so I don't even have to look up the guide. But if you guys need some extra help, here are some different team variations of the different teams if you're lacking some heroes, and I'll obviously link this in the description. But yeah, that's about it. My teams in the Nightmare Corridor are like fairly close to best in slot, so not much of a variance there for the comps. But speaking of not best in slot comps, let's head over to the Cursed Realm. So for this Cursed Realm, I wasn't able to hit 150 billion. I kind of wanted to do that, but yeah, didn't end up happening. So let's go through the teams. For the first team, it's the Awakened Athalia team. This team just wants Insight on Odin. You want energy regeneration on Mortis, and you want to make sure his gear looks like this. +2 here, and then full erosion on Twins. And then for Athalia, just a strong +1 collection is fine. Next team, Belinda. Not much to say here, just magic PS here, HP here, Insight full attack here, just a strong mage collection here, and then full attack here. And yeah, not much RNG for this team. Speaking of a little bit of RNG, this team, you don't want to copy my exact team. It depends. If you have Sora available, the Celestial Awakened hero, you can make a much better team. And also if you have Skyland, you can make a better team. But I'll show you guys that after we run through my teams. But just know that this isn't the most optimal team. The most optimal team also doesn't use Rimuru, so that she can be used, or he can be used in the last team formation. Right, but this is the team that I make. And also check out my Gwyneth collection I just made for the Abyssal Expedition. Yep, it's pretty sick. Alright, this formation, you can play around a little bit. For me, this was definitely the best setup using Tamaros. As for the collections, obviously defense here, erosion on Aurelia as per usual, Insight here, full attack here, full attack here. And again, it's a high RNG team, averaging around like from 20 to 28 billion. So this was a very good hit. Speaking of high RNG teams, this is also a high RNG team, averaging from like 20 to 28 billion. So then again, this was like a decently high hit. It's a seal team, so you want to stack Insight everywhere that you can. Obviously you want defense on Misha as per usual. Uran's collection doesn't matter much. If you have a good inside piece, use that. For me, I'm just using a +2 collection here. But again, it is RNG. Last but not least, here is the variant that I'm using of the Athalia team. If you have Rimuru available, you want to use her over Gabius. That'll do 23 billion, so that's slightly better. You can play around with the order of the team. Also, you can also play around with who Rosaline follows. She can follow both Athalia and she can follow Liberta. For me, it's better that she follows Athalia. Because of my investment in her, I had to remove her gear pieces so she didn't steal the Liberta link. As for the collections, yeah, just full attack everywhere that you can. And then, yeah, you're chilling. Alright, let's head over to the browser because unlike for the Nightmare Corridor, I'm not using the best in slot formations for the curse roll. Again, this is a guide again from Manuel Alcayaga from my guild. And I'll link it in the description. So what do we want to look at here? We want to look at round 3 because for round 3 I'm using this variant down here with Gwyneth. If you have Sora available and Lan available, you can use this round 1 or round 3, which is really strong. If you don't have that, you can try this formation. It's not better for me. If you have Skylan, you can try this. For me, I don't have Skylan. I ended up using this one, but it does use Rimuru, so you can't use Rimuru in the last team. If you can make one of the formations here that don't use Rimuru, you can go down here and you can make this round 6 formation, which uses both Shuna and Rimuru. And this formation is, it does 24 billion compared to the 21 billion that my current formation does. So yeah, as for the rest of the teams, I'm pretty much just using the best in slot setups. You can play around with Lucius setup. For me, nothing was better than Tamros. You can play around with Uran, but probably don't even bother. Just use the formation that I used. Right. As I said initially, I just recorded this video, so yeah, it's a bit shorter because I had to record it again, and it's already late. And before we go though, I do want to flex on you guys because for whatever reason, I don't know, like I feel like a childish excitement for my Gwyneth. So I built Gwyneth last week and she's like coming along really hard, right? I took it to engraving 88, my first ever engraving 60 plus or 80 plus hero. I also got this collection for her and like full gear, and I'm working on the furniture duplicates. Like she's such a monster. And again, obviously this is because of the Abyssal Expedition. I want to do some good damage in there for my guild and help them out. And hopefully we can get a really good rank. Right, enough yapping. I'm going to bed and I'll see you guys next Sunday.